Why would you want to be with someone who isn't into you? So I've gotten so much hate for saying this. The most important thing in a relationship, move on. How can I tell if a guy I'm talking to online has feelings for me? How to know when I should make the move to ask her out? I would break up with him. Hey guys, it's Lizzie. Today I'm going to give some Catholic relationship advice. So 10 years ago when I began Lizzie's Answers, the majority of my content was actually giving relationship advice because most of the messages I was getting in the comments were all asking questions about love and flirtation, how you know if someone's into you, what to do when you're dating, like all sorts of relationship questions. So I have an entire relationship playlist that will be linked below. You'll probably find some videos to relate to, but today I asked you guys on Instagram for any questions about relationships, so make sure to be following me on Instagram. That's also my Twitter. So we're just going to go through these questions. I like a girl who is not interested in me. Should I insist? Absolutely not. So this is like a cultural motif where guys are taught that if a girl says no, you should keep pursuing and that you can change her mind. So one of my guy friends in college, we actually became really close friends. We connected over a lot of things, but he kept trying to date me over and over and over again, and it completely ruined our friendship. I was never attracted to him, and it's happened to so many of my other friends as well who are just very platonic with people in their lives. And the guys are just taught this narrative growing up that they should keep trying and try to change her. Also, why would you want to be with someone who isn't into you? Like, if you're 100% into another person, attracted to them, love all of their qualities, captivating conversations, wouldn't you want the other person to feel 100% the same way about you? The only way a relationship will work is if both people want to be in the relationship. My Protestant partner feels uneasy about me praying the rosary with our future children. Run away! So a huge part of marriage in Catholicism, like the purpose of marriage, is to help each other get to heaven and to have children and educate them in Catholicism. So everyone here, if you're dating a non-Christian, if you're dating someone of another religion, think, will this person help me get to heaven by helping me grow in virtue, motivating me to go to mass, motivating me to read my Bible? They might do that even though they're not Catholic. They might help you get to heaven. But also, are they willing to raise the children Catholic? That's one of the most important things. When they're doing marriage prep for Catholics, you have to agree to raise the children Catholic. If it has issues with you doing Catholic prayers with your future children, I would break up with him. I don't think that's gonna work. What are some reasons not to talk about marriage early on with your significant other? So I've gotten so much hate for saying this, that you shouldn't talk about marriage early on in a relationship. The only context I've ever meant this in is if you are a teenager, if you're in college, if you're in your very early 20s. I think it can even poison a relationship if you bring up marriage so early, even within the first couple months of knowing someone. I just think that it sets you up for heartbreak. It's happened to so many people. It's happened to me where someone says, I'm thinking of marrying you, or I could see us getting married. And then 6 months down the road, they break up with you after saying they could see themselves marrying you. They put this entire future in your mind, and you think about what would happen if we ended up together. What would our kids be like? What would our lives look like? And when you're putting that in someone's head and then you're not going through with it, it creates so much heartbreak. And I've seen it hurt so many of my friends. So that's why I think you shouldn't talk about marriage if you're young, unless you've been dating for a year and a half. I just think it's way too soon. And you can even tell your significant other, by the way, I don't want to talk about marriage until we've been together for about a year, just because I don't want either of us getting hurt. So just say that from the beginning of the relationship, that that's a personal rule you have, and I think it will save so many of you from so much heartbreak. If you are in your late 20s or your 30s, talk about marriage earlier. My parents got engaged within 6 months, but they were also in their early to mid 30s when they met each other, which is totally different from being 19 in your first year of college. What does it mean when your boyfriend tells you, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? It means they sacrificially love you and that they would die for you. They want to be selfless. They want to help you in life. They want to build you up. They want you to have this beautiful life, but they're not like in love in the sense that they could see themselves marrying you. Like, it's not romantic. Maybe it's a little bit romantic, but it's not that romantic. If your boyfriend literally tells you that, I would also ask for follow-up questions. Be like, do you see yourself falling in love with me? Does it just take you longer to fall in love with people? Do you want to break up? Where do you see this relationship going? Just create a huge conversation about that, because that seems like a red flag, but he could also just be someone who's more guarded, who needs more time to fall in love. How to know when I should make the move to ask her out? Just do it. If you're asking the question and want to ask her out, just text her, ask her in person. Do you want to go on a date to get coffee with me? Or do you want to go on a lunch date or a dinner date? Just call it a date. Our culture is so afraid right now of just saying, let's go on a date. I am interested in you. I have feelings for you. People don't like defining relationships. Instead, and a lot of guys contribute to this by not just being upfront and assertive and sharing their intentions. Instead, it's flirtation and texting back and forth and hanging out in ambiguous ways. So if you are a guy or you're a woman, you can just use the word date, and you can even ask the other person, where do you see this going? Or do you want to be exclusive? Like, don't be afraid to just be really confident and assertive and share your intentions with the other person. It will save you time and save you heartbreak. Do you think dating too long is bad for Christians? I've actually gotten accused of dating my boyfriend for too long. We've been together for 3.5 years. When we get married, it will have been 5 years together. I think some couples lack self-control to not go too far physically, but I think there's a lot of things you can put in place to keep chastity in your relationship. For example, don't hang out at night in bed together. Don't take off your clothes. Don't be alone at night in the other person's apartment, period. Like, if you feel you're being tempted sexually, then just don't even be in a situation where anything could happen. So I personally think our culture is hypersexualized. Hookup culture is such a thing where people are used to just immediately making out, immediately having sex, like the day you meet someone, the first date you go on. And so because of that, I think people are coming into Christianity from their past or other relationships where it was hookup culture, and it's so hard for people to just be pure and live out chastity and to not have sex or oral sex or anything close to that. So I've been accused of that, but my boyfriend and I are very, very clear on our boundaries. We've never gone too far. We communicate about what our boundaries are, and I prayed so much, especially at the beginning of a relationship, that we would not cross any boundaries. So I think it's great to date for a long time. Marriage is, besides becoming Christian, is the biggest commitment you'll ever make in your entire life. So especially if you're young, like I started this relationship in my early 20s. I was so young at the time. So I think especially if you're a teenager, college, early 20s, date longer, that's better. How to emotionally deal when a person you love is thinking of dating someone you can't compete with. Stop being insecure. Everyone is so unique, even in attraction, like different people are attracted to different kinds of people. So you can never be like, that person's better than me, because you're gonna be better to another person from another person's perspective. Everything is a little bit relativistic when it comes to attraction. And so it's really wrong to be like, that person's better than me, that person's hotter than me. Maybe there's some objectives in that sense, but everyone's just so different in who they're attracted to. So someone will be attracted to you and think you're a 10 and think all of your hobbies and interests and work areas are amazing and enchanting. And so you just have to wait to find the right person. Like I said at the beginning, wouldn't you want to be with someone who's totally into you? Like, the relationship can't work unless both of you want to be in the relationship. So get over people who don't want to be with you, because the most important thing in a relationship is that you both want to be in the relationship. So if the other person doesn't have those feelings, it's not even an option to be with them. Move on. You will find someone else. How can I tell if a guy I'm talking to online has feelings for me? Ask him. Tell him how you feel. Define the relationship. I think that if you're talking to someone online, even during COVID, ask them to meet in person. Since COVID is going on, you can go for a hike outside with your masks on. You don't have to go to dinner. Definitely do something during the day where loads of people are there so you're not in a sketchy situation. But I think there are ways to do outdoor activities, go to the beach. If the guy only wants to text and flirt and that's it, then he won't want to meet in person. But if he wants to meet in person and talk to you and get to know you, then that's a great thing. Definitely don't go over to his place or like go on a date and then go back to his place, because that could be sending the message to him that you want to hook up. It could cause you to stumble. So I just don't recommend to like go back to his place early on when you're dating. So definitely meet in person, see if he wants to meet in person. If you've hung out like 2 or 3 times, I would just tell him straight up, like, I have feelings for you. Do you want to be exclusive? You have to stand up for yourself. You have to tell the other person how you're feeling. Stop blaming the other person for being in this ambiguity zone of not knowing how they feel. And also, you can just straight up be like, I want to go on a date, and make it clear that it's a date. How to set strong boundaries in dating. Talk about it. Talk about it really early on. So the moment that you are exclusive, have a conversation, be like, okay, how far is too far? So many YouTubers, so many Catholic influencers have made videos talking about this. So some really simple things to know: don't have sex, don't have oral sex, don't take off your clothes. Jackie Angel has a great video about this, and she says that you can show affection, but you shouldn't be turning each other on, which I think is a really good boundary. That yes, you can be kissing each other, but don't go so far that you're getting so turned on that it could get out of control. So besides having the boundaries and directly out loud communicating about them, only be with someone who also wants to save sex for marriage. I've seen so many people who have wanted to save sex for marriage who've been with someone who doesn't and eventually end up stumbling and falling into sin. So be with someone who shares your boundaries. That makes it so easier because you're on this team of chastity and purity together. Also, pray and pray and pray and pray. Be humble. Know that our sexuality is really strong. Don't think, oh, I have the most self-discipline ever. Like, I even pray when I'm kissing my boyfriend. Like, early on in our relationship, I prayed when we were kissing that it would not get too far. So I think it's really important to pray a ton going into a relationship when you start talking to a guy, that it will be pure and it will be chaste throughout the whole relationship. Practical ways to keep Christ as a priority in a relationship. You have to keep Christ as a priority in your life. You cannot depend on your significant other or anyone in your life for drawing you closer to God. Do devotional time every single day. Start off your day praying to God, end your day praying to God. Pray throughout the day. Set aside time every single day, either to go to daily mass, to sit down for 30 minutes and read your Bible, to pray a rosary, to listen to Father Mike Schmidt's Bible in a Year podcast. Just do something every day drawing you closer to God. And then when you are dating someone, engaged, married to someone who also has that same belief system, you together can grow even closer to God. So I personally think it's really, really important to be with someone who, like I said, can help you go to heaven and encourage you and grow you even closer to God. That doesn't mean that they're Catholic necessarily, but think about your relationship. Are they helping you grow closer to God? Can a guy and a girl be just friends? Yes! Our culture is over-sexualized, which makes it seem like it's impossible to be friends with someone of the opposite gender. I personally have 3 guys who I'm really close to who I consider to be best friends. It's completely platonic. I will say with some of my guy friends in life, it started off with the guy pursuing me and me saying no. And then we've been like, oh yeah, it's good we never dated, we're friends. So I will say that in some ways it started not platonic. My guy friend just texted me. But I actually think if you do want to get married in the future and you are a female, it actually really helps to have guy friends because there are gender differences, and so if you're gonna learn how to be best friends with your husband in the future, it's really good to have close relationships with people of both genders. I just think it forms you better as a person. What do you do when you like someone but don't always have the energy to talk to that person? Just tell them. Be like, I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people all the time. I don't like texting all the time. That does not mean I'm not interested in you. I like you so much. You're fascinating. You're passionate. You're a really incredible person. We have engaging conversations. I just get exhausted and don't want to text all the time. Some people in a relationship, they expect to be texting all throughout the day. That's how I am in my relationship. We text a ton. Other people need their space and don't want to be texting all the time. At the beginning of my current relationship, we only talked on the phone once a week for like 5 hours, but we didn't talk every day, and some people want to talk every day. So everyone's different. Just set the expectation, make sure they don't feel alone. Maybe if they do want to talk more to you, maybe compromise and give up some of your energy to make the other person feel loved. Thank you guys so much for watching. Linked below our playlist to all my other relationship advice videos. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!